Ola Onabule was raised in both Nigeria and the UK. Set for a career in law, he abandoned his studies for a rather more uncertain career as a musician. His melodious voice and uncompromising attitude have won him admirers around the world.
You pointed out you started with jazz, but your music is not really, it can't be classified as simply jazz. It's got elements of soul, you bring your African roots in as well. How would you describe your music, and what are the different influences that you see on it?
I think you've done a pretty good job of describing it. It is all of those things. It's the music that I loved in my childhood was soul and Afrobeat, but also Stevie Wonder was happening and Donny Hathaway was happening, and they were irresistible to me. So I absorbed all of that, and of course I started off being a professional by hanging out with jazz musicians.
How did you plot this path of going your own way and doing your own original music?
Well, I learnt through bitter experience what I wanted, what I definitely, absolutely wanted, and what I didn't want. I was signed to a major in the early 90s, and there was a fair amount of that, a lot of kind of pre-described focus group type artist development, you know, where you bring a song in and people would take their metaphorical scalpels out and shave bit, and that the kids won't love that, the kids won't love that, and you can take bits off and you'd be left with, you know, this thing bare and vulnerable in the corner trying to defend itself, this song. So I kind of figured that wasn't for me, and when the deal fell apart a year and a half or so later, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that I wanted I wanted as much autonomy as possible, and that would mean, you know, walking my own path independently.
Some say one day love is bound to return.
Now, you've been described at one point as somebody described you as Britain's best kept music secret. When you hear a phrase like that, how does that make you feel?
It's such a weird phrase. I'm egotistical enough to hear the hidden compliment in there. So that part happens. And then I'm also the sort of person who wonders how I could do it better. I mean, it's not right that I should be a secret. I mean, this isn't the profession in which to be kept a secret. You stand on a stage and put it all out there because you want as many people as possible to hear your song or your idea or your message.
In knowing who you really are, especially, I mean, for you having bridged two different cultures, Nigeria and Britain, how much of who you are is Nigeria? How much of it is Britain?
It depends on what kind of day I'm having. If I'm having a day where I'm feeling a bit rejected by one side, and it does happen, or more warmly received by either side, then everything from the songs that I'll sing, maybe even the set I'll choose to do at a gig, to the patter that I'll have with the audience. So some days I'll break into a Nigerian accent, spontaneously on stage, simply because I'm just feeling in that mood, inexplicably, you know. And some days I'll resort to a very received British, you know, persona on stage. And I think that happens when I'm writing songs as well. But I don't fight that. I like the duality, the schizophrenia of being able to see an argument or a discussion from both sides of the fence, because I think some of the real juice of songwriting is in that dynamic and that tension.
What you're talking about is a really complex feeling for a person, and I'm wondering if, in a way, music somehow makes it easier to fit all those complex emotions into one place.
It does.
Because it's hard to do with words, but with music,
Yes.
you can really somehow be able to capture all of that emotion.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, as you were growing up, was this something that attracted you to music? Was that all of these different kinds of cultures, these different things happening inside you, and music was your outlet for expressing it?
Oh, yes. I mean, it operates on a level as visceral as that, but also in a very visual way. I mean, I love, watching audiences trickle into a venue and notice that they're from all walks of life. They're from all strata of society. They're from all races and creeds. Or I can turn up in a foreign country, some far-flung place that I've never been to. But the moment the music kicks in, people get a sense of the mood. They know when it's a sad song.
Yeah.
Watching people sigh in exactly the same spot as the people did last week who were 1,000 miles from here is very reaffirming, and it's very therapeutic for me. It makes me resolve all those aspects of my multicultural or dual culturalism.
With wasted aspirations.
Coming up, Onabule tells us about his hopes for Africa.
Expectations.